Hey everyone, welcome back to the workshop. Artisan Pirate here, and in today's fun scroll saw project video, have another amazing design by Steve Good. It's one of his newer designs, so please keep that in mind. I've got the pattern printed out to its full size, prepped, and attached to our material with clear packing tape. Please keep in mind it is a 2-page pattern, so you need to cut on the dotted line and attach them in the best way you can to fully attach it and get the full-size design on your material. The material we're going to be using in question is a piece of 3/4 inch panel that I milled down and cut to the size of today's design, and it's got some beautiful grain textures in it that I hope really shines through once we apply a finish later on in the video. The design in question is going to be a classic hot rod design, or rat rod design if you prefer that term. Really cool profile here of a classic car. It's got the low roof, flames on the door panel, a nice big engine in it, 2 big tires for street racing, and then the words "burn rubber" there at the base of it. The pattern pack you download from Steve Good suggests that you cut this out of 1/4 inch material and then add a backer board to it to where you can hang it on a wall or above your toolbox out in a garage if you like to tinker on cars and everything. I have just, as I said, opted to use 3/4 inch material, and later on in the video we'll take another piece of the same panel this is from to make a decorative base for it and glue that together to where it can easily freestand on a shelf, desk, or countertop. Really cool. You guys know that I am not really a classic car person, but I am a Hot Wheels person, and when I seen this design here, it really reminded me of the classic Hot Wheels car Bone Shaker. This is out of my personal collection, but if you really look at the designs and features and profile of this classic Hot Wheels car and then look at the design of this, they kind of favor each other. So a really cool way to celebrate my love for collecting the classic Hot Wheels cars. And since everything is prepped and pretty much ready to go, let's move the camera over to the workbench to drill all the pilot holes required so we can come back to the scroll saw and start scrolling. And over here on the workbench, we're going to begin by taking the Seiko Scroller's drill and drilling out all of the pilot holes for internal cutting. And there is a multitude of internal cuts on this project, but once we get over to the scroll saw, we will take our time and get through them all. Over here at the scroll saw, I'll be using a number 5 Ultra reverse tooth blade for all of the scrolling on this project, and it will cut through the material exceptionally well with minimal chip out. And I'm not really sure what the material is, but I do feel it is a species of pine. The material started life as a shipping crate, and this is just one of the pieces left over from it. If you guys would like to try this pattern, it's available as a free pattern download over at Steve Good's scrollsawworkshop.blogspot.com website over in his free pattern catalog. As soon as I seen this design, I knew I would have to try it because it immediately reminded me of the classic Hot Wheels cars. I know Hot Wheels have been around for a long time, and this was just a great project to represent the joy of collecting those classic cars. And from this angle here, you can see where I am stationed mostly in the workshop, and even though the workshop is 12 foot wide by 24 foot long, I'm primarily over in this corner working on the scroll saw. And you can see how the angle of the scroll saw helps produce neck and shoulder strain. But now on the close-up here, we are cutting out some of the more finer details, and this project has a lot of those tight V corners in them, and you see me cutting those out now. And how I achieve that is going in one side of the V and backing the scroll saw blade out while it's still running and cutting into the waste wood and going down the other side. That way I can taper that V point down as tight and as fine as the pattern calls for. But as always, I am taking my time and letting the blade do the work and being as loyal as I can be to the cut line. This was a very relaxing cut for me. I had on some good music and I had the fan on me, and I was rocking and rolling. It took me around an hour and a half to scroll everything out from start to finish. But now we are doing the final internal cut here, which is cutting around the words "burn rubber" at the bottom of the car. and then we will be ready to retension the scroll saw blade and begin the final outside release cut. And this is just one long continuous cut. If you guys like what you're seeing, I would highly encourage you to subscribe to my channel and also follow me across all my social medias under the Artisan Pirate name. I'd really appreciate the support. And now that all of the scroll work is done, we can carefully remove the piece from the waste wood and get our first visual glimpse here, and then get ready to go over to the table saw and prep and make our base. And this is more of the same material that the car itself came from, and I'm just eyeballing everything here at the Rikon table saw. But after I am happy with the size of the base, I will step over to the router table and put a Roman OG profile on the front and back side of the base. I've always liked that visual. But then it will be time for sanding with 180 grit Klingspor Woodworking Shop sandpaper and the vibrating palm sander. And then I'll use a sanding sponge to sand that profile nice and good. And then we will glue the car to the base with some medium grade CA glue and activator. And once again, I'll just be eyeballing everything here, but I'll give it around 5 minutes to cure before taking it outside in the beautiful sunshine and giving it several coats of Rust-Oleum clear gloss. And this really made those grain textures pop. And while it was drying, I decided to go in and admire my classic Hot Wheels collection. A lot of these are from childhood when I was collecting, but a lot of them are from now. And I still always like to go through them when I see some of them in stores. And I always get a little thrill from finding something new to add to the collection. But after the clear gloss was dry, the project was complete. And here we have the completed custom hot rod design, cut out primarily over on the scroll saw. Of course, the base was cut out on a combination of the table saw and router table, but it finished up amazingly well with some nice and crisp details in it. Thank you, Steve Good, for another fantastic design from your pattern catalog. Once again, it's one of his newest pattern offerings from 2024 in case you guys would like to go and download it and try it for yourselves. It took me around an hour and 15 minutes to scroll this project out completely from start to finish, and it does have some tedious and small cuts in it. So I did what I always do, and I took my time and let the blade do the work, and I was as loyal as I could be to the cut line. And as I said, everything came out nice and crisp. You have the flames on the door panel, you have the big engine for a lot of power, you have the tires on the front and back, and then you have the words burn rubber there at the bottom, all encapsulated in this nice little design here. And keep in mind, this was originally intended in Steve Good's pattern pack to be cut out of thinner 1/4 inch material with a backer board added to where it could hang on a wall or above your toolbox out in your garage if you like to tinker on classic cars and work on them. I just done it in a different way, once again showing off a scroll saw pattern's amazing versatility. I always try to think outside of the box when I look at a scroll saw pattern and think, how can I make it different than originally intended, if that makes any sense. We just cut it out of thicker 3/4 inch material and used a leftover piece to make the nice decorative base to where this project can easily freestand on a shelf, desk, or countertop. But if you also cut it out of 1/4 inch material as originally intended, the project is going to be that much more fragile, especially the words there. They were very tedious to cut out because of how small they were. And if you didn't want to tackle cutting out the words, you could of course draw a straight line with a ruler there when you were prepping your project and not even add the words burn rubber at the bottom. But I also think you could take it a step further and take those words out and use this project as a trophy for a classic car show. And you could put in like first place, second place, third place, runner up, viewer's choice, something like that. or if you wanted to, you could also add your own custom name down there at the bottom. And I didn't even add no additional color to this project once we got everything glued together and we were ready to begin finishing the project, because I really loved how the grain textures came out in this project. This material started life as a shipping crate a friend gave me, and I milled it down, sanded it, planed it down, everything, and made some panels for the CNC machine. And this is just one of them that was left over, and I haven't got around to using it on the CNC machine, so I prepped today's project with that panel. And I know it's probably some kind of pine, but I really love the grain textures in it, so I opted to not add any additional splash of color like a stain or paint or anything like that. But by all means, you always have the option to add color, cut a project out of exotic or hardwoods or anything like that, and just let your imagination run wild. But really, really cool. This project allowed me to go down memory lane. As soon as I seen Steve Good upload it, it immediately reminded me of the classic Hot Wheels car Bone Shaker. And I even have a limited edition one here that came with the Hot Wheels Unleashed video game. It's got a custom paint scheme, and you can even drive this car in the video game itself, so that's kind of cool, having a little mini version of what you're driving in the game. And this one currently sits on the train table in the train room and is parked beside a garage. I thought that would be appropriate for a car like this to sit at. But a really cool project to go down memory lane during the summertime here. And really, really cool. I had a lot of fun making it and bringing it to life, and I hope you guys enjoyed watching the video and maybe picked up a tip or tidbit along the way. If you're new to the channel, hopefully you'll click that subscribe button and also follow me across all my social media feeds under the Artisan Pirate name. As always, links to contact me as well as all my social medias will always be linked down in the description box below these videos. That's about all for this one, and remember guys, if I can make it or do it, so can you. I'm the Artisan Pirate. Take care, and I'll see you guys real soon.